Let's go straight to the highlights in Acapulco. Remember, he has beaten Rafa a couple of times coming into this match, and he said, I saw Nadal in the draw. That gave me extra confidence. I wanted to meet him in round two, and Rafa knew it.
Yeah, we saw it in Kyrgios' attitude against Seppi just yesterday. But then in the first set, it was kind of shades of the Nick we've been seeing the last few months. It didn't look like everything was going well. He was kind of whining a little bit. He wasn't running for every shot. Then he took the injury time out, was complaining about how he felt. And
almost just a chat, it seemed like. He was just having a chat with the guys.
Didn't get any medicine, just wanted to say he was sick.
And then in the second set, things turned around. I mean, he didn't look sick at all. And the shots, those were sick in a good way.
That was a sick shot.
He's
Great
so talented.
Look at that.
Yeah. It was interesting because he started to be more offensive, and they started to go for the drop shot more, both of which caught Rafa off guard so many times. But his ability to come up with some unbelievable shots with his hands, it is a marvel to watch. The 4-all game, Rafa had 4 break points, did not break in the second set, and Kyrgios pulls it out in a breaker.
And then he sits down and he gets his back worked on, so another injury.
I think we called this. We
Underhand
said somebody
serve.
needs
We said he
to
was gonna
try
do
it.
it.
Exactly.
I mean, Rafa stands so far behind the baseline. It didn't work there, but we go to a tiebreak in the second set, or in the third set. And how about this? 3 match points now for Nadal. You think he's got to close it out?
I thought it was over at this point. I really did think that there was no way that Rafa Nadal would lose after having those 3 match points. The net said otherwise. A couple of let cords.
On one of the match points, Kyrgios hit a volley that hit the net cord and went over, and then that one, no favors to Rafa, then the double fault. That was so uncharacteristic. He was rattled. There's a lot thrown at him in this match, and it was Kyrgios who, unbelievable, was the more solid at the end of the third set breaker.
Never lost a tiebreak to Rafa. Perfect 5-0 in tiebreaks, and very quick handshake there. Listen to this.
How about this crowd? I mean, they were into it. This really felt like a crazy epic battle.
Hulk Hogan's, some boos there, some cheers for Rafa. Gracious as always. Kind of a dubious ending there for those two, but the crowd in Acapulco, they were up and at it. Now, Nadal, in his press conference after, said of Kyrgios, quote, he's a player who has enormous talent, could be winning Grand Slams or fighting for the #1 ranking. He lacks respect for the crowd, the rival, and towards himself. Now, Nick was asked about these comments that Rafa made after the match.
I'm different. Rafa's different. You know, he can focus on what he needs to do. You know, he doesn't know the journey I've been through. He doesn't know anything about me, so I'm not going to listen at all. You know, it's the way I play. You know, it's the way he plays. He's very slow in between points. You know, I think that, you know, the rule in the book says you have to play to the speed of the server. But Rafa has the speed every time. So, you know, I'm not going to comment on his game. I've got my game. He's got his own game. We played well. That's the sport. People are different. So, you know, I'm not going to take that into consideration at all.
All right, so what do you make of both comments, Jan Michael?
Well, I think that he did a good job of really not really commenting. I think that, you know, he's right. He's very different from Rafa, who's very different from him. And, you know, he is on his own path and own journey. And I think there's just a lot of players that that think he has so much in him and could do so much in the sport, Lindsay, that he's falling short on some things. But again, you know, if he plays like that, no telling what he could accomplish.
I think that's the Nick we saw for the second 2 sets. The first set you almost have to throw. That seemed like it was the old Nick. But the level of tennis he was able to play, but also, I mean, how he was fighting, and we saw him give a lot of commands, that has been missing. And sometimes he plays matches, it doesn't look like he cares. We knew he cared tonight, and that was huge. And a couple of steps in the right direction, but this is what the tennis fans all over the world want. Is Nick engaged? When Nick wants to win, I mean, play some of the most remarkable tennis on tour.
When he plays a player ranked 1 or 2 in the world, he has a record of 6-4. He brings it against the best, and now evens up his record against Nadal. Stan Wawrinka up next, so an exciting quarterfinal there. We switch to Dubai.